Hey, I'm Luke, and I grew up in the city of Tampa, Florida. I'm 28 and an only child. A month or so back I fell for what one can say was a clear trap. I fell in love with a girl who was marrying me just for my money and was making a fool out of me. Thank God I found out and plotted the perfect revenge to get back at her. So as I said, I was an only child, and being an only child might sound lonely to some, but trust me, I had plenty of company with my dad, Alex. He was a big deal in the real estate world and built his empire from the ground up with sharp instincts and a ton of hard work. Our house was always buzzing with meetings, phone calls, and a constant set of well-dressed people. So Dad's success meant we lived comfortably. To put it lightly, but despite all that, my dad never made me feel like I had to follow in his footsteps. He never outright said that I needed to take over the business, but there was always this unspoken understanding. He would talk about his latest deals or how he started with nothing but a rundown duplex and a dream, and I would catch the glint in his eye like he was imagining me stepping into his shoes someday. Don't get me wrong, I was proud of what he had built, but he still let me figure things out independently. But being a stubborn child, I was hung up on becoming something else rather than following my dad's footsteps, even though I liked it. While some of my friends' parents pushed them into specific careers, Dad let me explore. I tried my hand at sports, dabbled in music, and even flirted with the idea of becoming a chef at one point. But I really appreciated that freedom more than I realized at the time, because it gave me space to figure out who I am without the pressure of living up to someone else's expectations. Because I might not have become a real estate agent myself if Dad had forced me into it. So as I said, I was hung up on finding my own path and convinced it was not following my dad's footsteps, and so by the time I finished high school, I was convinced my passion lay in literature. I went off to the University of Florida to major in it, dreaming of becoming a writer or maybe even a professor someday. For a while, it was everything I hoped for. I was totally into all these words and stories and soaked up every bit of knowledge like a sponge. But somewhere along the way, the magic started to fade. The pressures of deadlines, critiques, and the academic grind took the fun out of it. It was not that I stopped loving literature, but I realized I did not want to spend my life dissecting books and writing papers. It was a tough pill to swallow, but I dropped out of college, feeling a bit lost and aimless. That was when I started looking at my dad's world with fresh eyes. The real estate business had always been there, lurking in the background of my life. I used to hear Dad talk about deals and developments, but I never really paid attention. Now, with my literary dreams on hold, I felt a mix of obligation and curiosity pulling me toward the family business. And so I got along with my dad and started helping him run the business. Now, joining my dad in real estate was not an instant love affair. At first, it was just a way to fill the void. But as I started learning the ropes, something clicked. Negotiating deals, understanding market trends, and seeing projects come to life had a dynamic energy that I found surprisingly engaging. Dad was patient and guided me without ever making me feel like I was just a kid riding his coattails. He used to bring me to meetings, explain the intricacies of deals, and let me handle smaller tasks to build my confidence. Over the years, I took on more responsibility and moved from an observer to an active player in the business. There were definitely tough days and moments when I questioned if this was the right path for me. But seeing my dad's passion and dedication firsthand made me appreciate the work even more. I started to see the real estate business not just as a job, but as a way to create and shape communities. Now it had been years since I was working with Dad, and then one day Dad called me into his study, saying he had some important things to discuss with me and that it would decide my future. But I took it lightly, not thinking much of it. When I walked in, he was sitting behind his massive oak desk, looking more serious than usual, and then he motioned for me to sit down and handed me a stack of documents. As I flipped through them, I realized that these were not just any papers. They transferred the majority of his property and business assets to me, and I was speechless. "Luke, I have been watching you work hard these past few years. You have learned a lot and have shown great dedication." "Thanks, Dad. I have had a great teacher." "I appreciate that, son. But it's time for a new chapter. I have been thinking about the future of our business, and I believe it is time for you to take the reins." "But Dad, don't you think it's a bit early?" "Nonsense. You are ready, believe me. These are transfer documents. They transfer the majority of my property and business assets to you. I want you to carry forward our business, make it your own, and build upon what I have created." "Dad, this is..." "Wow. I don't know what to say. Are you really sure about this?" "I have never been more sure about anything. You have got the vision, the drive, and the skills. I trust you completely to take our legacy forward. I will do my best to honor what you have built, Dad. I promise I won't let you down. I know you won't. But remember, this is your time now. Don't be afraid to make your own decisions and put your own mark on the business. It's your legacy too. I understand. I have learned so much from you, and I'm excited to take this on. It's a big responsibility, but I'm ready. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Just know that I'm always here for guidance and support, but I trust your judgment completely. This is a lot to take in. I mean, I knew I would take over someday, but I did not expect it to be so soon. Life has a way of moving faster than we expect. But you are ready, Luke. You have shown me that time and time again. All right, let's do this. I will make sure our business continues to grow and thrive. That's the spirit. I'm proud of you, son. Thanks, Dad. I won't let you down. From that day on, things changed. I was not just learning the ropes anymore, I was responsible for the whole operation. Every decision, every move felt monumental. I had always known the business was a big deal, but now, the reality of it all was staring me in the face. And of course, Dad did not just vanish into the background, though. He was still there and guided me and also offered advice, but he let me take the lead. I kept my vow and promised myself that I would honor my dad's legacy and build upon it. Now, life was going at its usual pace. Before I knew it, years had passed with me handling the whole business. Over those years, I had managed to grow my name quite a bit and even grown as a person. Things were steady and predictable, and I was in a good place, but then everything took a hit when I met Madison. So, one day, my best buddy Jose hit me up with an invite to his housewarming party. Jose had just moved into this awesome new place with his girlfriend Mia, and they were throwing a bash to celebrate. I figured it would be a good time to unwind and catch up with all my friends, so I decided to go. The whole place was buzzing with people when I got there. Music, laughter, the whole 9 yards, and I was grabbing a drink when Mia walked up with her friend Madison. "Luke, over here. I want you to meet someone." "Hey Mia, what's up?" "Luke, this is my friend Madison." "Madison, this is Luke. He's a millionaire and a really good friend of mine." Her millionaire comment made me a bit embarrassed, not going to lie. "Nice to meet you, Madison." "Nice to meet you too, Luke. So, a millionaire, huh? That is impressive." "Yeah, I guess. I have been pretty fortunate with my family's real estate business." "Well, Luke, Madison here is single and currently searching for a rich partner." "Oh, is that so?" "Oh, Mia, you make me sound so desperate. I'm just looking for someone who is driven and successful, you know? Someone who's got their life together." "I can understand that. It's important to find someone who's on the same page. So Luke, why don't you tell Madison a bit more about what you do? I'm sure she would love to hear about it." "Sure. I run a real estate business my dad built from the ground up. We have grown a lot over the years, and it has been quite a journey. Lots of hard work, but it's paid off." I could sense that Madison's eyes kind of lit up hearing this. "That sounds amazing. I admire people who are passionate about what they do. It must be really rewarding." "Yeah, it is. So what about you, Madison? What do you do?" "I'm in marketing. I love being creative and coming up with new ways to engage people. It's a lot of fun." Mia walked away after a while, leaving me and Madison alone, and we continued to chat a bit and then parted ways. Now Madison was something else at first. She had this bold, almost sinister charm that grabbed me from the moment I laid eyes on her. She was not the typical kind and soft soul you might expect to meet in your life. Madison was more straightforward, unapologetically confident, and flirty. It was clear she was not going to sugarcoat anything, and I found that incredibly refreshing. We started talking, and I could not help but be captivated by her. She had this way of looking at you, like she was seeing right through all your exterior, and it was a bit intense, but I was into it. I knew she had a darker side, something a bit edgy, and instead of being put off, I found myself drawn to it. Then as the night went on, we kept finding each other in the crowd, and our conversations kept inclining over a mix of witty banter and deep dives into topics most people shy away from. She was not afraid to challenge me, to push back on things I said, and I loved every minute of it. Then over the next few weeks, we started seeing more of each other. Madison was unpredictable, bold, and not afraid to stir the pot. I thought that she brought a kind of excitement into my life that I had not realized I was missing. I knew from the start she was not the type to settle down easily, and honestly, that was part of the appeal, but boy did I think wrong. I did not want something easy or predictable. I wanted someone who challenged me, who made me think and feel in ways I had not before, and Madison was all that and more. Despite sensing her darker side, or maybe because of it, I could not stay away, and it was like I was completely under her spell. Maybe it was just infatuation, but it felt like a genuine connection that kept pulling me back and wanting more. And now that I look back, meeting her at that party was like a spark that set off a whole new chapter of trouble in my life and turned everything upside down. Things with Madison moved fast. Really fast. Her boldness and straightforward nature kept me on my toes, and I was totally enthralled. She had this energy about her that was impossible to resist. It was like being caught up in chaos, and I did not want it to stop. We went from that first meeting at Jose's housewarming party to spending almost every day together. Madison was not one for playing games or beating around the bush. If she had something on her mind, she used to say it. That honesty was refreshing, and it pulled me in deeper. And then in just 5 months, Madison did something I didn't see coming. She convinced me to marry her, something I thought was the last thing on her mind. Now I know what everyone must be thinking. 5 months? That's crazy. And it was crazy, and a lot of our friends and family were surprised, maybe even a little shocked. But I was convinced at that time that Madison was the one, and she convinced me that it was the right time. At that time, I felt that we had this connection that felt undeniable, and we were in sync in a way that made me feel like I had known her my whole life. Her confidence was infectious, and she pushed me to see life differently. I remember the day she brought up marriage. We were sitting in this cozy little cafe, talking about our future, and out of nowhere, she just said that we should get married. Just like that. But now that I look back, every action of hers was leading up to this direction. At that time, I looked at her, and I could tell that she was serious, and as crazy as it sounded, it did not feel rushed or wrong. It felt right, and I felt like I did not want to wait because it was Madison, and what could be wrong with her? She was perfect. So, I said yes. When we told our friends and family, the reactions were mixed. Jose was stoked and said that if anyone could keep up with Madison, it was me. My dad, Alex, was a bit more reserved because he had always been the cautious type, but he saw how happy I was and gave us his blessing. After that, the whole planning of the wedding took over, and just like our relationship, Madison took charge, and before I knew it, we had a date set and everything lined up. It was happening so fast, but Madison had me convinced that being with her felt like the most natural thing in the world. Some people thought that we were rushing and that we should have taken more time, but I thought I had met the one and ignored them. I thought that they were just jealous of me, my success, and now the happy, perfect life I was going to live, and even though 5 months might seem quick, for us, it was perfect. We were living in the moment, embracing every second, and I was confident in my decision then. Now, 2 weeks before the wedding, Madison went on a bachelorette trip to Hawaii with her friends. It was all planned out, a girls' getaway to celebrate and unwind before the big day. I was cool with it and trusted Madison and knew she would have a blast with her friends, including Mia. And back home, I was getting everything ready for the wedding. Invitations were out, venues booked, and everything was falling into place. I was excited and was counting down the days until I would officially call her my wife. But then, things took a turn I never saw coming. I was trying to keep busy and not think too much about the big day. Then, out of nowhere, I got this frantic call from Jose, saying that I needed to hear the voice note he was sending me, immediately, and that Mia had sent it to him from all the way to Hawaii. I asked him what had happened, but he did not say anything and just pushed me to listen to it. My heart started racing because if Jose was this worked up, I knew it had to be serious. He sent over the recording, and I pressed play, but what I heard next shattered me. It was Madison sweet-talking some guy named Ethan. They were talking about their plans for the future and how she was going to marry me, then divorce me, take half of my property, and live a lavish life with him. Her voice was so casual, so confident. It was like she had rehearsed it 1,000 times. I felt a mix of rage and heartbreak hit me. I thought it was some kind of joke, and I had absolutely no idea how to react and what to do. So I called Jose again, asking what it meant. He told me that it was not a prank and Mia had heard Madison talking to a guy and saying all those things. But I was not able to process it all, so Jose promised to come over the next day when Mia would return from the trip, and I agreed. Coincidentally, Mia was set to return 1 day earlier than the rest due to some work issues, so she and Josh decided to come visit me. When she returned, they came straight over to my place. She looked serious and almost nervous. After a bit of small talk, she told me what actually happened. So we were playing games at the bachelorette party, and then Madison got a call. She left in the middle of the game, and I did not think much of it at first. But when she did not come back after half an hour, I went to check on her. Okay, and? I found her on the phone, speaking and flirting in the sweetest manner. At first I thought she was talking to you, but then she mentioned another name. She kept saying Ethan over and over. Ethan? Who the hell is Ethan? I have no idea. But it was certainly not a friend, and that was why I recorded the whole thing. I thought you needed to hear it. Yeah, I heard it. But are you sure it's true? Luke, do you seriously think this is wrong? Everything was crystal clear in front of my eyes. It's bad. Really bad. From where I started recording, the conversation seemed light, but then she dropped a bombshell you must have heard. Madison was talking about her plan to marry you, then divorce you, and take half of your property. She said she and Ethan would live a lavish life off the settlement. Yes, I know, Mia, and I just can't believe this. She has been playing me this whole time. I'm so sorry, Luke. I did not want to believe it either, but you had to know the truth. She thought she could get away with this. Well, if all of this is true, she has got another thing coming. Thank you, Mia. You did the right thing by telling me. I'm here for you, Luke. Whatever you need. I need to deal with this. I will find out more about this. She is not going to get away with it. Are you going to confront her? No, I'm not going to confront her. If all this is true, I'm going to expose her. She deserves to be humiliated for what she tried to do to me. I am going to make sure everyone knows who she really is. Just be careful, Luke. Don't let her drag you down to her level. Don't worry, Mia. I know exactly what I'm doing. She is not going to ruin my life. All right, just remember you are not alone in this, okay? Me and Josh both have your back. Thanks, Mia. I appreciate it. Now, it's time to take care of this once and for all. You have got this, Luke. We sat there, replaying the recording, dissecting every word. The more I listened, the angrier I got. Madison had made me believe we had something special, and now I realized it was all a scheme. I felt like a fool. Like, how could this be happening? Madison, the woman I was about to marry, was planning to screw me over. My head was spinning, trying to process it all. After they left, I sat in my living room, staring at the wall, trying to make sense of it all. My mind was racing and I thought about every conversation, every plan we had made. I realized that if what I heard was the truth, just calling off the wedding was not enough. She did not just deserve a breakup, she deserved a public downfall. I was furious, and I wanted her to feel the humiliation she had tried to set me up for. I also knew that I had to confront Madison, but I wanted to do it in person. But then I thought about making sure the news was authentic and not just some misunderstanding. So when she got back from Hawaii, I played it cool at first and waited for the right moment. I started planning. I was pretty sure that the recording was enough evidence and also that Jose would never lie to me. But the love-struck man in me, who was stuck on Madison, was not satisfied, and I decided I would not do anything until I had some proper evidence. And that was when I planned on checking her phone, because that was what crossed my mind first. I decided to invite her over for what she would think was a final romantic night together before the wedding. I thought I would make it seem like I was all in, completely unaware of her scheme, but little did she know I had other intentions. I spent the next day preparing, and I made sure everything looked perfect: the house, the ambiance, everything set for a romantic evening. I even bought her favorite wine and cooked her favorite meal because I wanted her to feel secure and to think that she still had me wrapped around her finger. When she arrived, Madison was all smiles and acted as if nothing had happened, and for a moment that evening even I was confused if this was all a big misunderstanding. The evening wore on and we talked a bit, had dinner, and watched some movies. Madison was staying for the night, so we went to bed pretty early. Now I sat there, waiting for her to be completely out. When I was sure she was asleep, I carefully took her phone. But unlocking it was no small feat. She had changed her password, and I knew she did that from time to time, but it was absolutely unpredictable. Then I realized she had a fingerprint lock, so I gently pressed her finger against it while she was asleep and was extra careful not to wake her up. It worked. Once I was inside, I started digging. I went to the gallery first, but I saw no pics. There were just our photos and videos and nothing suspicious, but then I decided to access the hidden folder, which again I accessed through her fingerprint. And the photos were the nail in the coffin. There were pictures of them together, cozy and intimate, which confirmed everything. But I was not satisfied yet. I went to messages and searched for a long time until I realized she had saved that guy's number under the name of Audrey. her other best friend. The messages between her and Ethan were worse than I had imagined. It included all the "I love you" sweet nothings, plans for the future, and even clear evidence of her plotting to use me. My anger burned hotter, but I kept my cool, and it hit me that all of it was in fact the truth. Madison was cheating and deceiving me and was marrying me just for the money. It felt so devastating that for a moment I had no idea how to react. But then I realized that I could not afford to sit like this and I needed to do something. I wanted her to have a taste of her own medicine and wanted to see what it felt like backstabbing people and what the consequences of it were. So, I went into her Facebook account, thankful she had not logged out, and decided to upload the recording Mia had sent me. I sent it to Madison's number through my phone and deleted all the chat evidence of it. Then I uploaded the recording and added a short but blunt caption, the truth about Madison and her lover. Ethan and I hit the post. The reaction was immediate and out of this world. Within minutes, notifications started pouring in from friends, family members, people we had not talked to in years, and even people I did not even know. They were all commenting, sharing, and reacting. The post went viral faster than I expected, and my phone started buzzing with non-stop messages and calls, in the middle of the night, from people shocked and horrified by what they were hearing. I put Madison's phone on silent and decided to wait till the morning to let the drama simmer. Of course, I did not get enough sleep because my mind was stuck thinking about it all, and I woke up pretty early. I decided to check Madison's phone, and there were a bunch of missed calls from Ethan and even her friends. Now, I remember how Madison woke up in the morning rubbing her eyes, and I saw her as she picked up her phone and started to check it. There in an instant, her face turned confused as to why her phone was blowing up, and the shock was clearly visible on her face when she saw her own Facebook post. She immediately looked at me. "Luke, did you see this post? The one where you are planning to make a fool of me?" "Yes, I did. In fact, I was the one who posted it." "What? How did you? How could you do this to me?" "How could I do this to you? How could you do this to me, Madison? You played me, used me, and planned to marry me just to divorce me and take half of everything I own. Do you think I would not find out?" "Luke, it's not what it looks like. I can explain. Please just listen." "Explain what? That you were planning to ruin me and run off with Ethan? That you saw me as nothing more than a cash cow? Save it, Madison. Everyone knows the truth now." "Luke, please. It was a mistake. I was confused. I love you. I really do. We can still fix this. We can make it work." "Love? You don't know the first thing about love. All you care about is money and living your lavish life. Well, guess what? The marriage is off, and you are not getting a penny from me." "You can't do this, Luke. Please don't do this. I will be ruined. My life will be over. You have to understand, I was scared." "Scared? Scared of what? Scared that I might find out who you really are? Well, guess what, Madison? Everyone knows now, and you are right. Your life as you knew it is over. You deserve to be ruined after what you tried to do to me." "Luke, please give me another chance. We can talk this through. Don't throw everything away." "No, Madison. You threw everything away the moment you decided to betray me. Get out of my house. I never want to see you again." "Luke, please, don't do this. I have no one besides you. That is not my problem anymore. You made your bed, now lie in it. Get out." She tried to plead, to explain, but there was no coming back from this. The damage was done. Friends and family called, offering their support, their disbelief clear in their voices. Even the media picked up on the story, and Madison's true nature went viral on the internet, and everyone cussed her. Watching her scramble, trying to do damage control, brought a grim satisfaction. She had planned to ruin me, but I had turned the tables. She was exposed, humiliated, and left to deal with the fallout now. But Madison was gone from my life, and though the wound was deep, it was better to face the truth than live a lie. I never imagined my life taking such a turn, but now, standing on the other side of the storm, I felt stronger. Madison went through what she deserved, and my revenge hit her really hard. A few days later, I got to know from Mia that Madison's life had turned miserable as many of her relatives and friends, including Mia, had cut off from her, because this recording of hers acted as their last straw, and they had already put up with enough of her BS over the years. Mia also told me that her lover Ethan had also broken up with her and had left her stranded in the middle of all this, and now she was pleading with Mia to talk to me and convince me to get back with her. Safe to say my plan was successful, and she was now suffering from her own doings.